This is the story of one of the most shocking criminal scandals in modern Korean history. A nightclub that was a front for something far darker. A trafficking ring run by celebrities. Corruption so deep it reached the top of law enforcement. And one ordinary man who decided eventually that someone had to say something. Part 1, The Girl Who Woke Up in a Strange Room. A young woman we'll call her Minjung woke up one morning in an unfamiliar room with no memory of how she got there. She remembered being at a club, a bar, a polite well-dressed man. Then nothing. Before she could make sense of it, that man walked in and assaulted her, strangling her, pressing her down with his full body weight, bending her neck against the headboard. She later told investigators she genuinely believed she was going to die. At some point she vomited dark brown into a wasp ebon blood. When it was over, she got on her knees and begged. Told him she'd never go to the police. She just wanted her mother. He laughed, held up his phone, and said, "Take a selfie with me and I'll let you go." She forced the smallest, most hollow smile of her life. He took the picture. Then he threw her clothes at her face and pushed her out. She ran barefoot into a Korean winter. Below freezing. Snowing. She flagged a taxi and only then realized her phone was gone, her credit card was gone, her winter puffer coat was gone. And the last several hours of her memory were simply missing. Part 2, The Police Station. Minjung went straight to the police. She showed them bruises, told them everything, and demanded a drug test. She knew something had been put in her drink. She'd eaten dinner, paced herself, been deliberate. The memory gap was surgical. The test came back negative. The drug most commonly used at Burning Sun was GHB, odorless, tasteless, completely metabolized within 5 to 24 hours. By the time she was tested, it was already gone. Police pulled hotel CCTV footage. On the screen, Minjung walking into the lobby upright, apparently mid-conversation, even laughing at one point. The police's skepticism became dismissal. The man who assaulted her, a wealthy Thai national with political connections, released the coerced selfie to the press as proof she had been willing. She was branded a liar. A gold digger. She had one question nobody seemed to care about: it was 8 degrees the night she went out. She remembered putting on her thick winter coat. In the hotel footage, she's wearing just a light sweater. Where was the jacket? Nobody followed up. Her case disappeared into silence. Part 3, The Club. By 2018, Burning Sun was Seoul's most exclusive nightclub. It was founded by Seungri Lee Seung-hyun, youngest member of Big Bang, one of the most successful K-pop groups in history with nearly $1 billion in concert ticket sales. Seungri always considered himself the overlooked underdog. Burning Sun was supposed to be his empire. Alcohol packages started at $10,000. The top tier reached $100,000. Within weeks of opening, the club had made $1.4 million. Within 6 months, that doubled. That was the legal business. Part 4, The Water. Inside Burning Sun, employees had their own language. They called female customers water. Pretty women were good water. Average women were side dishes. Every Thursday, VIP merchandisers, personal concierges for high-paying clients, sent out that week's specials. Not champagne. Photographs and videos of women who had been drugged and filmed without their knowledge. Each image had a price beneath it, the cost to have that woman brought back, drugged again, and delivered to a VIP room. They called it the weekly menu. If multiple clients wanted the same woman, they ran a bidding war. The targets were never sex workers. The clients specifically wanted regular women who had paid for their own drinks and come out with friends. Women who would wake up confused and unable to prove anything. They wanted victims. Employees would scan the floor, select a target, have a bartender add GHB to her drink. When the drug took effect, the woman would be escorted or carried to a VIP room or hotel room above. Hotel Le Méridien owned 42% of the club. The VIP rooms and hotel floors operated as a single unit. After assaults, employees filmed the women and added them to next week's menu. Part 5. The night it started to unravel. November 24, 2018, the first snowfall of the year. A man named Kim Sang-kyo was at Burning Sun for a friend's birthday. He stepped outside and saw a woman being dragged out of the club, barely conscious, grabbing at walls and railings, visibly not wanting to leave. Kim stepped in. He blocked the man dragging her. That man was a VIP client. Club employees, mid-transaction, took extreme exception. They dragged Kim outside and beat him. The club executive grabbed him by the hair to hold his head steady and punched him repeatedly. Kim ended up with 3 broken ribs. When police arrived, Kim pointed to CCTV cameras and described everything. Officers went inside, spoke to the executive, came back out and arrested Kim. They tackled him to the ground, handcuffed his hands behind his broken ribs, and an officer reportedly tripped him deliberately. With no hands free, Kim's face hit the pavement. Officers allegedly continued to kick him. Medical care was refused. At the station, Kim kept shouting, "This club has money. They own the police." Nobody wrote it down. Part 6. The petition. In January 2019, Kim went public. Interviews. Social media. A formal Blue House petition, South Korea's version of a presidential petition with specific accusations: women being drugged, employees facilitating assaults, police bribed to protect the club. It received over 200,000 signatures in a single day. In response, police filed a report describing Kim as the criminal. Burning Sun released a statement calling him an offender and submitted 2 complaints from women claiming he had harassed them, one of whom was a club employee. But because Kim was male, women who had stayed silent felt, for the first time, safe enough to speak. Women who had been dismissed by police. Women like Minjung. They started coming forward with stories that were consistent and methodical: the drug, the blackout, the hotel room, the police who did nothing. The snowball became an avalanche. Part 7. The phone. 2 years before any of this became public, a woman reported her ex-boyfriend for taking explicit photos of her without consent. His phone was sent to a data forensics firm. An analyst, will call him Park, recovered over 200,000 text messages, photos, and videos. Then police called. Stop. She retracted the statement. Return the phone. But Park had already seen things. Images of unconscious women. Videos of assaults. Group chats where men discussed the price to access specific women, like restaurant menu items. One message read, "I fed her sleeping pills and assaulted her." The responses were laughing emojis and congratulations. Then he saw the names. The phone belonged to Young Jun Young JJY, a beloved TV personality and singer. In the group chats with him were Choi Jong-hoon of CN Blue, Roy Kim, and Lee Seung-hyun Seungri of Big Bang. And he saw why the girlfriend had retracted so conveniently. A message read, "I saw the messages between name and the police chief. They found out who snitched." Senior police officials were clients of the operation. Park made a copy of everything. And he waited. Part 8. The messages. When the messages were made public in February 2019, South Korea stopped. Seungri texted employees about foreign VIP clients, give them everything they want. Call the girls over. When asked which women, get the kids who give it easily. Someone jokes that a drugged woman doesn't even remember who she did it with. Seungri responds, could be. She just doesn't remember. In one chat, a woman was described using a term translating to comfort woman level. Comfort women were victims of systematic sexual slavery imposed during the Japanese colonial period. Tens of thousands of women deceived with promises of factory work and forced into servitude, assaulted dozens of times daily, many murdered. Survivors have spent decades fighting for an apology that still has not come. These idols used these women's suffering as a punchline in a group chat about assault. Part 9, Consequences. YG Entertainment, the label behind Big Bang, saw its founder step down as CEO. The company lost close to $100 million in value. Jung Jun-young was sentenced to 5 years. Choi Jong-hoon, 2.5 years. Seungri enlisted in the military, allowing a military court to try him separately. He was found guilty on 9 charges and sentenced to 3 years. He appealed. The sentence was reduced to 1.5 years. In South Korea, a sentence of less than 1.5 years does not appear on a permanent record. Seungri received a sentence of exactly 1.5 years. He was released 2 days early. His conviction was expunged. He has no criminal record. The higher-ranking police officials whose names appeared in group chats as VIP clients faced no consequences, no dismissal, no charges, no acknowledgement. The wealthy foreign clients who flew in from across Asia left the country before charges were filed. Almost none faced prosecution. Victims feared coming forward because South Korean defamation law allows someone to sue for reputational damage even when the statement is completely true. Part 10 and 11, Why IT Matters. Park, the tech employee who discovered everything in 2016, held that evidence for 3 years. That frustration is valid. But he knew the police were inside the operation. He knew defamation law could destroy him. He knew keeping the copy was itself a legal offense. When Kim went public and the public conversation grew large enough, Park hired an attorney and brought the evidence to the Civil Rights Commission, bypassing police entirely where it could be made public rather than buried. Kim Sang-kyo, who broke 3 ribs stepping in front of a VIP client to help a stranger, was later himself convicted of assault allegedly committed inside Burning Sun that same night. He is appealing. This is how these things survive. Not perfect secrecy. The rumors were out there. People laughed and said that's just what happens at Burning Sun, and in doing so, protected the people doing it. The drug was chosen specifically because it erases memory. A justice system requiring proof, in a culture that blames victims, becomes a machine for protecting perpetrators. Seungri is out. Traveling. Moving through the world as if nothing happened. Minjung never got her conviction. The man who assaulted her left the country. Her jacket was never found. The drug was gone before anyone tested for it. The police who dismissed her faced no consequences. But she went to the police. She went on record. She refused to be quiet. None of them did, in the end. That's the only reason any of these men faced any consequences at all. Because a woman reported her ex-boyfriend. Because a tech employee made a copy. Because a man stepped in front of a VIP client in the snow. Because hundreds of thousands signed a petition. Because other women decided maybe this time, someone will listen. The world owes those women more than a maybe.